actually work in multiple and also to control, to secure, and also to manage. Okay, so that's why it's called management device. Okay, so that's also another thing about switch. And also, it is actually control, no? In terms of, well, can we work on the bandwidth, sir? Yes, you can actually work on the bandwidth. You can also work with the accessibility. You can also limit those devices who could actually access your network and also isolate. What do you mean by isolate, sir? All of these devices hindi pwede makakonect ito sa internet, but those devices could actually connect to the internet. What's the reason? Because they are isolated, because that they are in a management VLAN or a certain virtual local area network, but they are connected on the same switch. Okay, so what's the cool thing about that? You don't have to buy another switch in order for you to manage the LAN or the entire LAN. Okay, so the good, siguro on the downside of having Cisco switch or Cisco is it's a bit more expensive. Yun lang. Other than that, it's actually manageable. It's actually the advantage. It's actually secured. It's actually accessible. It's durable. It's high end. No, we're talking about this particular device. Okay, so let's get into the discussion. Okay, so the objective is to implement initial settings, including passwords, IP address, and default gateway. Okay, so before anything else, I would like to emphasize in what are these things. No, one thing, who is assigning passwords? Of course, hindi na kailangan itanong yan, sir. Personally, you're assigning passwords to our account. Okay, so that's the main point. What else? If you're actually assigning passwords, you're actually going to secure. You're limiting everyone or anyone who would like to access this illegally or has an issue. No? Kumbaga, these are individuals who would like to infiltrate or would like to cause something or cause damage to your system and or to your network directly. Okay, so other than that, we are trying to secure and work with efficiency. That's why we are working with or we are assigning passwords. One thing about IP address, alam nyo sa IP address, why do you need an IP address? Sige daw, since my internet connection was right, natural, sir. You don't have to ask that. Without an IP address, you cannot communicate. Without an IP address, you cannot communicate using the internet. And your internet cannot identify if you are unassigned IP address. Sir, I cannot find my IP address, but it says that it is already assigned automatically because some of your IP addresses are already assigned dynamically. Okay, so that's dynamic host configuration. No? So that's one thing about assigning IP address. And also, there's actually two. No? So auto-designate and also manual. No? So that's actually two. What we're actually going to do now is we are going to assign it manually according to our instructions. Okay, so we also have the default gateway. Ano yung default gateway? What do you mean by a gateway? Yun. Yun na lang muna. Ano kasi niya ang gateway? Gateway outside, gateway inside, di ba? We're talking about gateway. It's a device that is actually between your internet and the entire local area network. Okay, so before makakalabas ang network or ang connectivity ninyo, it actually needs to get with that gateway first before you can actually go outside. Okay, so it means that, example doon, no? Gateway parameters on a network switch and devices. So it means that your switch would actually be working as your default gateway or a router will be the one who will be assigned as a default gateway. So assigning default gateway would actually be assigning that to a certain device, no? So particularly talking about a modem or a certain router. Okay, so topics. Okay, so we have Cisco iOS access. This is not actually the yung iOS na sinasabi ninyo sa mobile phones ninyo, ha? So iOS navigation is also another thing. The command structure is another discussion, no? So particularly talking about describing the command structure of Cisco iOS software, basic device configuration, particularly talking about how to configure a Cisco iOS device using CLI or command line interface, and then we also have saved configuration. Now dito lang, if we're going to to ask me, no, the difference between save configurations on packet tracer and on a certain device, dito, kung sa actual, you can really save. Pero sa packet tracer, you cannot save that. Okay, yun lang. Baka may confusing ano kayo din, encounters. And then you also have ports and addresses. Okay, so we are actually going to explain how devices communicate across network media or using network media. And then you also have to configure IP addressing, in which you are going to configure a host device. Okay, so host device ito, and with an IP address. And also the last would be to verify connectivity between different devices. How to verify? You need to ping. Why do you need to ping? No? To call and also to get a reply. Ganun yan. Okay, so let's get into it. No? Okay, so if you're talking about Cisco iOS, okay, so Inter-Network Operating System, okay, so that's the thing about the iOS. It is actually just exclusive to Cisco devices. Okay, it is not available to TP-Link or Huawei devices or Juniper devices or anything that would actually be competing to Cisco because this is actually their proprietary. Now, sir, if you're going to install that to other networking devices, hindi ba magkaka-air? Natural because it's actually owned by tawag nito, Cisco proprietary nga, no? So that's what they're actually their reason. And also, marami na rin nagkakaproblema nito because they try to replicate the product. Pero ang problema lang is Cisco is still having this issue na hindi nyo pwede i-copy ang concept because it belongs to us. So ganun ang gusto nila. Just like the experience of Apple, no? So sila kasi yung dominating networking device as up until now. Okay, so other thing about this is the operating system itself. So before we get into the iOS or the operating system of Cisco, let's discuss first what's with the operating system. Sino dito ang dumaan sa operating system na discussion? Wala? Wala pa ba? Okay, so anyways, no? So with an operating system, as far as you're concerned, and using operating system, there are several layers. Okay, and it also involves hardware. Number one that you're actually seeing right now in your UI, that's what we call the shell. Or tawag niyo dyan is user interface. Pero it's not the literal shell that would actually be channeling all of your commands, no? It's because it is actually just for your own convenience. It's a literal siya na makikita ninyo, pero all of those commands are actually translated by this particular na software. So as part of it, that would actually be the shell. Now, it is said that the user interface that allows users to request specific tasks from the computer, no? These requests can be made either through the CLI, yan, CLI, or your GUI, or yung GUI or the graphical user interface or interfaces. Now, sir, what's the difference between the two? Yan, mas magandang ipag-usapan na natin yan. Because you can actually either choose, no, command line interface or GUI. Parang na-ask ko na yan sa inyo, di ba, last time? Saan ba ang mas advantageous? I would say, no, for higher complexity, we're actually going to choose CLI. If you want to have more, kumbaga, sir, gusto ko parang expert talaga, yeah, go for CLI. But if you want to have convenience, more into convenience, you can actually use GUI. Because you would like to choose drag-drop approach or just click and, those things that would actually be more comfortable to you. Pero, on the other end, both of them have their own advantages. Okay? So, ganun. Now, that's the shell, ha? So, that involves CLI and GUI. What about kernel? Hindi yung kernel core, ha? So, kernel is not also a rank in the military or in the police, okay? This actually communicates between the hardware, yan, nasa center, and software of a computer and manages how hardware resources are used to meet software requirements. So it means that the compatibility issues, okay, of your operating system is actually bridged through that kernel. this is actually one of the second layer core in which kung wala ang kernel, okay, so example, ang kernel would actually be a framework. Kung walang framework, your shell and your hardware cannot communicate directly. Okay, so it means that it needs to have clarification in terms of communication towards your hardware, from your hardware to your shell or your UI or CLI. Now, other thing about kernel is they have common issues or commonality with other operating system. From Windows to Linux to Unix to Mac, no, they have this commonality in terms of kernel. Why? Because most of these computers actually use hardware. In terms of systems architecture or so operating systems architecture, they have that particular design. No? So in terms of software and hardware. Sir, bakit hindi pareho ang ano? I mean, there is similarity in terms of keyboard, the mouse, or any devices that would actually be named in terms of computers. Bakit magkapareho? Kayo. Sir, bakit hindi left-handed ang ano, ang mouse? O bakit dito ang numpad compared to my tawag niya, letters? Why is that? Because of this. One of the reasons, no? So, ilagay lang natin yan, emphasize natin yan. And then last is the hardware. Okay, so what's the relevance? Of course, no? Hindi na siguro natin kailangan pang i-voice out ito because as per hardware, the physical part of the computer including underlying electronics is actually required in order for your computer to run. And take note, you don't have a computer if wala tayong hardware. Natural, no? And also, in addition, your networking device or devices is actually composed also of hardware. So this is your GUI. So ano nakikita niyo sa GUI? Of course, it's just the look of it. The ease of use, di ba? No, sir, bakit gusto namin na rather, this is actually in part of psychology. Bakit ganyan yan? Bakit nasa ganito, di ba? And then, bakit sa kabila, sir, ganun, or nasa center? Or some of the operating system is actually popped up, just like home operating system, no? So, most of them would actually be designed in terms of the convenience of the users who actually appreciates the operating system. It's actually because of that. No, there's a psychology in it. So, without further ado, no, so with regards to that, just like what I have mentioned a while ago, so Windows, Mac operating system, Linux, TDE, and Apple iOS and Android is actually called as operating system. So, one of the disadvantages pag naka-UI lang, it eats a lot of virtual memory, it eats a lot of other resources, no? Particularly what I said, no? And some of them would actually be ending up with a high cost of resource that is actually being utilized because of the requirement that the operating system is actually need of. So, that's with the GUI. Other than that, no? So if you're going to compare the UI-based operating system to a CLI, this is your CLI. Huh? Ganun, di ba? Yan lang. These are just what? Lines, no? Text, numbers. And this is actually the most efficient operating system mode that you could actually be utilized because why? Compare dyan, pag-ayan na memory because of its what? Its look compared to this one. And this one would actually be needing mga ilang MB lang in order for it to run. Pero the higher the resource, also, the higher the performance could actually get. Pero most common of them is not on the end user or end device. This is more onto the networking devices and also servers. Okay? So, example, if you're going to manage a cloud server, cloud infrastructure, you're not actually using that. They're actually using this. And then if you're going to manage a Windows operating system network operating system, they're actually using this rather than that. And some would say na, sir, para ano lang, para mas easier for us to understand, why can't we use that? Yes, because you can actually use that. Pero take note, you are managing a server and you are not actually going to let this experience na magkaroon ng hang. No? Why? We don't want to snatch a resource just because for your own convenience. No? Remember, a server gives, no? Or the server serves. Hindi siya, ang paggamit sa kanya is not a typical computer. Okay? So, pag server, ganito yan. Typical, ganyan pinagagamitan niya. So, other than that, okay. So, if you're actually going to access a certain router or switch, no, yan yung ginagamit natin. This is actually the example of a rollover cable. Actually, if you're going to compare that last Thursday that we had, you cannot terminate this because this is already pre-terminated. And sir, bakit pareho pa rin? We have 8 pin na connection. It's just the same with our RJ45, okay? But the point is, on the other end, it's actually using RS232, okay? The blue one, ito, blue, no? So it's always blue. Even in your pocket tracer, if you're going to look at it right now, the cable, the color of the cable is still blue, no? So, and in order for you to proceed with this, no? Sana may router talaga tayo. But anyway, we're going to try this actual talaga. Nandun na daw yung device, so we're just waiting for it to be installed na lang. Here, as far as we're concerned, we're actually going to use the port. And this is an example of a Qt software. Okay? So, this one is the interface software before your intermediary device. And then, sir, paano ba namin yan ma-configure? Paano ba namin manipulate ang device, or particular the switch and the router? Dito. This is the console. And when you are in a console, your computer is directly connected to a router or a switch in order for you to configure that. Okay, so emphasizing about console, okay, so a physical management port, okay, and selecting what particular port would that be, used to access a device in order to provide maintenance. Maintenance on what? Configuring your device, such as performing the initial configurations and also changing the configuration of a certain device, assigning IP address, and also securing and assigning passwords. No? So another thing about accessing your device is through secure shell and telnet. What do you mean by secure shell and telnet, sir? Okay, so sa madaling salita, we're going to access our device in a remote modality. Now, if I am in London and my router is located in New Jersey, pwede bang ganun, sir? Yes, remotely. Ano yun, sir? By using log me in? Are you familiar with log me in? Or are you familiar with ginagamit ninyo sa mga Gen Z? Payment na lang. Okay. Ginagamit ko the last time that that software that you would like to use in order for you to remotely access another computer. Give me an example. TeamViewer, very good. Yun yung pinaka-common and very free. Pero, you're going to compare that here, dito console. Doon, sa drag and drop, di ba? Kailangan mo lang i-log in yung account mo, then yung the other end, you can give her or him the link. Then, automatically, you can actually control the device. Pero, ang limitation niya, it's not secure. Why? Because of this particular technology. Why is that, sir? Again, because it's not what? Encrypted. We're going to encryption. Going to encryption, this is actually about secure shell. Now, secure shell, on the other hand, I would just like to emphasize, or SSH, it actually establishes a secure remote CLI connection to a device, okay, from a certain terminal towards a certain device through a virtual interface, no? Ano yung virtual interface? Actually, some of you might already have seen na yung nagtanong sa akin about sa virtual terminal. This is actually the the emphasis of the virtual terminal, no? Over a network in which kung walang virtual terminal enabling, hindi na-enable ang virtual terminal, you cannot use secure shell. Even if you are from what? From the high places of Zimbabwe towards the lowest places of South Antarctic Ocean, no? So ganun, no? Kahit mas tawag ito, malakas ang internet connection ninyo doesn't actually matter because you are limited in terms of accessing that. And number one is it's not enabled. Sa router kasi or sa switch kasi, it needs to be secured in such a way, even if directly configured or remotely configured. So, emphasizing again about remotely configured device, no? Telnet. Okay, so ito yung isang technology that would actually be related directly to, may sinabi mo kanina? TeamViewer. Very good. Again, no? So, bakit na-involve si TeamViewer? Di ba sabi natin na, sir, pag TeamViewer lang namin yan, bakit parang seamless ang connectivity? Bakit parang remote control lang talaga? Because it's not encrypted. Again, it maximizes the capacity but minimizes the security. And nakuha ba? Now, going back to security principle here, why is it not secured, sir? Because of its resources that it actually needs, no? And kung encrypted kasi, malakas ang pag-assist ng security feature niya doon compared to this one. Walang authentication or wala masyadong authentication compared to Telnet, no? Now, Telnet, on the other hand, it establishes an insecure, no, remote CLI connection to a device over the network, which it is actually another thing about the term is only plain text. Your password input is naked, no? Even if you're actually going to copy and paste that, kaya niya, ganun lang itsura compared to this one. Okay, so who is familiar with ESK? WPA2. Huh? Ano lang? That's an encryption key. For your password in order not to be copied. Pag i-copy yan, that's actually garbled. Pag i-paste yan, actually garbled yan. This is actually the realization pag dito compared to this one. Okay? So, questions so far? Wala? Online attendees, baka may question tayo, no? Okay, so ganito yan. Ang terminal emulate, sorry hindi pa natin talaga na-try ito, pero the moment na nandun na yung mga devices sa laboratory, I'll let you try talaga. So, we're actually waiting for it to be installed na. So, the terminal emulation programs, just like what I've said, no, the POTI. Okay, so this is actually made by free open source freeware, no, organization in which it actually controls, again, configures and also sets networking devices. So let me emphasize, no, terminal emulation programs are used to connect to a network device by either a console port by an SSH or telnet connection. So through this particular software, sir, what if hindi naka-install? The bad thing is, or the downside is, hindi talaga ma-configure. Okay, so kailangan i-install nito. Okay? So there are several terminal emulation programs to choose from, such as the POTI, TerraTerm, and Secure CRT. So pero the most common is actually POTI, no? So that's the and then this entire setup here, ito na yung choosing three services or through two particular service, which is Telnet or SSH. So choose between the two. Ang by default niya is SSH. Then what particular port that is actually using in terms of TCP/IP or TCP or Transmission Control Protocol. Okay, so this is actually the default, or should I say the setup. Questions before I proceed? Actually, medyo nagmamadali ako. May panel pa kasi ako before 1:30. So, baka by 12, tapos na tayo. So, akala ko, titig na lang. Ha? Gusto mo? Gusto mong tignan? Ha? Gusto mong tignan doon? Nandun siya sa baba. Gusto mong puntahan doon? Anyway, so iOS navigation. So let's proceed with this. Now, you can actually open a packet tracer there. Okay, so, and choose a switch or a router. No? Pero I would say na doon muna tayo sa switch or sa router. But anyways, on the primary commands, no, before we proceed, no, like I said, hierarchical siya. Okay? Before you can enter to another mode, you need to first enter to a certain mode, just like a folder. So what's the primary folder involving a secondary folder? Dadaan ko muna sa primary folder before the secondary folder. Or next to it would be the tertiary folder. That's the hierarchy in terms of using iOS, no? So kailangan dumaan ka talaga. So one thing about this is opening up, executing, and also following, no, a particular symbol. Okay, so let's start with user exec mode. With the user exec mode, nakikita natin yan by default, no? Nakikita ninyo yan. So if it's actually what? Ano to? Yan, parang ganun. Parang Accenture. Ano yan? Greater than or less than? Ha? Mathematical symbol yan, di ba? Yan. Ano yan? Greater than? Okay, so let's agree with that. No? So greater than, it allows access to only a limited number of basic monitoring commands. Again, monitoring commands that identified by the CLI prompt that ends with this particular symbol. Now, that's the first mode that you're actually going to encounter. No other mode that will actually appear, no? Except for that. Okay, take note, ha? Kasi sir, ang nangyari is ito ang open. It's not actually secured now. You need to or in this particular mode na ngayon, which is actually privilege exec mode, this is not actually the right thing that you're actually going to see. Okay? So, one thing is baka ano na yan, nagkaroon na yan ng infiltration with regards to illegal access, no? Or remotely illegal access of a certain individual. So, yeah. And then, we also have what we call privilege exec mode. It allows access to all commands, okay, and features. All commands and features now on your router or your switch. Now, it is also identified by the CLI prompt that ends with the ano to?
Number sign.
Number sign or hashtag? Dahil ba talaga sa dalawa? Hashtag? Number sign, symbol. Okay, so that's very formal, no? I mean, that's the proper, no? With that, guys, before this one, it should be the user exec mode before the privilege exec mode. So take note of that, ha? So, sir, anong gagawin namin dyan? If you're going to enter enable or EN, directly it actually points you to the privilege exec mode. Wait, mali. Sorry. Pindot ko ang end. Okay, so yun. Let's proceed with the global configuration mode. So with this, okay, so it is actually also used to access configuration options on the device. Okay, so right after the privilege exec mode, and then right after global configuration mode, we also have the line configuration mode, which also opens the possibility of you accessing or assigning something to your or enabling your SSH or telnet and also your auxiliary. No, so with that, no, particularly we are setting that one also. And then we also have the interface configuration mode, in which it actually leads us or leads you to configuring a certain router interface. Okay, so from fast Ethernet 0/1 down to 00, okay, so down to the last port number on your switch or on your router. Okay, so with that, okay, so well, you can actually access the video through your CNA pero hindi pa natin ma-enroll yung names ninyo. For this, you're actually going to do the exercises under user exec, privilege, and also global configuration modes. Okay, so other than that, okay, so other ano ninyo, you can use this, no? You can use this reference, no, for configuring. Now, can you use your packet tracer? Sige daw, try natin packet tracer. Sige, open your packet tracer. Okay, select a router and or a switch. Sige daw. Packet tracer. Mag-ingat, sir. No. Ay, no, sorry. No. Okay. Okay, so open natin ha. So what mode is that? Yes. Sa privilege. Tapos kailangan pumasok tayo dyan, di ba? So this is the user exit mode. This one by default. Tapos kung pumasok kayo sa yan. So that's yan. Okay. So actually enable yan. So okay. After yan. Okay. Right after downloading, ito lang ang instruction ko lang. Right after downloading yan, no, the compressed file, okay, can you disable the internet connection on your terminals? Kasi pag pag nyo i-disable, it would actually be redirecting you to Cisco Networking Academy. So, sa ngayon, wala pa naman kayo account. So, we'll just have to, parang pakitracer lang talaga sa gamitin natin. Okay? Sige. So, with that, sige, kung may may kailangan kayo, hindi Yes. Doon sa BP. Ano na? Tapos para huwag mo lang i-connect sa internet para hindi siya mag- Huwag ka lang mag- Yeah. Ako na lang dito. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Tapos disconnect mo yung direct connection din. Then okay na just get it. Okay na. Right. Meeting switcher. Meeting switcher. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So that modes that you're actually going to use, or based on the instructions that you have already, then you can actually follow through, no? Follow through ba? Kailan ba? Diba? Oh. Yeah. So that ma-experience niyo what would be the hierarchy of navigating the iOS. So with regards to that, you cannot exit or you cannot kumbaga, you can only pass through those levels if you're actually going to use those modes. So from privilege, a user exit, privilege, then you have the global and you also have the live configuration. So, what are the purpose? No? Particularly those three that I've mentioned. So, the privilege exit mode, as you can see, no. Okay, so if you're going to type in enable gen or enable, yung enabling command, just like that, you can see, you can actually go through the next, which is your global configuration mode. Then, kung nakikita na natin sa global configuration mode, okay, so you can get into another configuration setup, no, to move in and out of global configuration mode. So you are just within that particular lang na mode, but you are going to configure a certain terminal. Okay, so just like example, which is your switch and your router. So to return to the privilege exit mode, you just have to type in exit. Okay, so exit lang yan. So, saan na ba siya papunta? Balik na naman tayo sa privilege exit mode, no? So, with that, you're actually going to see again the hashtag. Okay, so, another thing, no? So, is the line configuration mode. So, with this, you're actually going to configure, okay, to move in and out of the line configuration mode, excuse me, use the line command followed by the management line type. Okay, so particularly that one. To return to the global configuration mode, still you're actually going to use exit. Now, what's the point of having this? You're actually going to configure, example ng dyan, you're going to configure line console 0. So, ang console 0 natin dyan is actually the one that you're actually going to configure. Okay? So, after that, you're going to type in exit para lumabas ka, then bumalik ka doon sa privilege exit mode. That's always the end point. No? Or, sir, what if ayaw ko nang pasikot-sikot pa doon sa babalik na naman ako sa global configuration mode, then towards privilege exit mode. Lagay nyo dyan N. Babalik siya sa user exit mode. Okay? So, doon siya papunta. Now, later, you're also going to assign, okay, so again, it's shift 6. Control shift 6 yun, para bumalik lang siya sa mode na gusto mo. Like, kagaya sa kanya, if you've encountered yung 266.266.266, that's control shift 6 lang. Kasi that's a terminal error lang yan. Okay, so kayo mo magpanik. That's control shift 6. Huh? And then, just like I said kanina, no? So, there are also sub-configurations, just like what's indicated here in your PowerPoint. Okay, so, particularly talking about the line configuration, or ito din, another thing is you're also going to assign something to a certain interface. What particular interface is that? This is the you're actually indicating the second port. Okay? Ang counting kasi natin sa network, it's not starting with 1. It's starting with 0. So pag sinabi natin 10, how many is that? Sorry. Pag sinabi mo kasing 0 to 10, how many? That's 11. Okay, sorry. Naalala ko. That's 11 because you're starting the count from 0. Okay? 0 ang port. Sir, what if siya dalawang 0? It never happens because this is actually uniquely assigned. Okay? So to a certain port. Okay? So that's on your switch part. No? So kasi normally they have 24, sabi nila 24 ports. That's 0, that's actually 25 because you're actually going to have 0 to 24. Okay?
01.
That's second port already.
First port
00. Yes. Pero the seldom na ginagamit si 00 because that's actually used for the source. Example, you're going to use 00 for internet connection. That's the first default port that you're actually going to assign for the ISP. Sino si ISP? This is actually for my internet connection. Doon i-assign. Pero I don't know with the setting that you're actually going to have or that you're actually going to prefer na, sir, I would like to have 24. Wala na ako dun. Pero the thing is, you need to familiarize kung saan mo din na-assign yan because literally, eventually, you're actually going to assign configuration for each port or series of ports that you're actually going to manage. No? So, from VLAN, inter-VLAN, okay, so inter-VLAN routing, that's actually one of its purpose. Why do we actually have to group ports? Why do we have to isolate ports? And so on and so forth. Okay? So, another video that you're actually going to view also, you're actually going to, siguro I would just like to, i-prompt lang siguro kayo, and then through your email, you'll be informed na-enroll na ba kayo sa CNA or sa Cisco Network Academy. Yes.
Sir, ano sir? So,
Nalala.
gamit na ba para sa LCM
No, joke lang. On that particular matter, I cannot control that because that's personal naman ninyo, no? Pero pag nagamit na kasi ninyo yan, then tapos nag-register na kayo doon, I'll try to fetch, then tapos i-manage kayo in a certain section. Ganun kasi yan. Pag instructor-led kasi, manage siya by the instructor. Pero pag self-paced kasi siya, ang isa sa mga ko dyan is your resources are a bit limited. Yun lang. No? So, hindi masyado siya given sa inyo. Anyways, no, so anyways, that can be managed naman. Okay, so command structure. Okay, any questions? Sige, kayo daw muna din sa mga ano ninyo. Any question before we proceed? Para walang sino ba install or with that. So, okay. Try pa muna. So it's actually just can get back university. Yes.
Are you allowed to configure your reports such as
Yeah, sure. That depends because again, this is actually administrator preference or policy preference. Yeah, so it's not literally na the first port should be the default. Pero in best practices, no? So there are some cases na why is it that the first port should be like this, like that? So good, those are experiences. So trying to explore. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty true. Yeah, si Pili daw guys, for now kasi hindi siya nag-parang-asing okay. Asa naman? Wala ko. Wala ko sa same. Yes. Okay lang. What ba?
na-stuck niya dito sa packet laser application, sir. Yes. Kasi pahirap yan yung points.
This one, well, no, because it's an instant naman. So, pag naka-assign na yun siya dun, example, yung sa pag-trader, you just have to set that one, and tapos siya na mag-collect automatically. Because that cloud thing, or that cloud model, supposedly, pre-configured siya. But if you want to do it manually, do complex siya on our end, for example, pre-configured naman siya, so, okay lang. Sige, so ang question for the iOS. So this is actually the basic iOS command structure. You have the prompt, you have the command that you've assigned, you have the space, and you also have the keyword for argument. Now, example, what particular prompt that you would like to see? Example, your router, your switch, and then the command that that you want that device to do is to ping space that IP address. Sino ito? This is actually your device that you would like to contact, no? Sino yan? Si 192.168.10.5. I'm trying to verify the connection between this switch to that device. Okay, so why? Because my connectivity of the switch or the connectivity of the switch towards that device is unclear. That's the scenario. Okay, so if you would like to see lang, you are trying to reach out to that device by using ping. Okay, so ang reply din yan sa iyo is POM. No, I'm not joking. That's ping POM. Okay, so that's the reply. That's the POM. Okay. Okay, now, other than that, okay, so this is actually a specific parameter, no? Yan. You can use this as the pattern, no? Define an operating system because this one is actually not the standard. But this is actually the paradigm that your operating system was actually setting. No? So ganyan siya dapat. So supposedly. And other than that, example, I would like to show the IP protocols on this particular switch. So show IP protocols, available protocols on this device. So on that device particularly, it's actually going to show everything that is actually available on that particular switch. Now, ito din naman, so you're actually referring to the keyword, no? So we also have the argument. Okay, so this is not predefined. Okay, it is a value or variable defined by the user in which you are actually going to use this one. So ito, you are not you are actually going to set this one, pero hindi siya predefined na nandyan na yan. So it's actually going to be set by the user or assigned by the user to a certain device. That's what we call assigning IP address. Okay. So yan, no? Nakikita din natin dyan. Okay. So my boldface text indicates commands and keywords are entered as shown, no? And also we also have the italize. Pag naka-italize kasi siya, you're actually going to provide that one. So just like this particular convention, no? And we have ang tandaan lang natin, no? So para hindi naman siya matagal, it's actually the boldface. It's actually going to literally as shown by what you have experienced. No? So, and if it's actually italicized, you need to indicate, no? Example, IP address. So that's actually the example. So other than that, you have the keywords and also the other commands that you're actually going to provide. So just like that one. Okay, so you're actually going to ping a certain IP address, and you're actually also going to do trace routing using the IP address. So, sir, just like what you said kanina, I'm trying to verify the connectivity between two devices, no? So I'm using ping. What about trace route? I'm actually going to use trace route in order for me to, from the word itself, no, to trace where it actually passes through and also arrives, no, particular destination, which is my device or replying to my device. So with that, I'm using this, or I'm actually going to use this argument, this one, or this IP address in order for me to monitor or also to trace that particular connectivity. So example dito, the example, if a command is complex with multiple arguments, yan. Marami, sir. What if marami? You may use it represented like this. Ano yan? You can actually see that, no? So that's open and close parentheses, and then you're actually going to divide those commands or keywords with, ano yan? Ano yung straight line sa keyboard mo?
Five.
Ha? Right? Ano yan? Ano yan sa keyboard? This one? Vertical line? Vertical line? Okay, so that actually separates, no? And also, so, races, no? Yeah. So, and another one would actually be also indicating that another two keywords are actually utilized, no? So, seldom na rin ginagamit ito, but if you are really into using this particular na syntax, this could actually be utilized in a more complex na matter. So you could do that. Pero as far as we're concerned now, doon muna tayo sa basic. So here another example. Okay, so context sensitive, which is actually referring to help. Pag help ang gusto ninyo, example, sir, I don't know what's next to ping. Lagay niyo dyan question mark. Sige, lagay niyo dyan, question mark. Go to your device, ping, question mark. Go to CLI. Sir, lumabas is word, IP address, IP version 6. Ano yan? These are the description. Okay? You can actually use, you can actually use these keywords in order for you to, what? To substantiate this. No? So, anong next niyan? Either IP address, version 4, IP address version 6, no? So diyan ilalagay. So that's the thing. Now another thing here is a command syntax check verifies that a valid command was entered by the user, no? If the user interpreter cannot understand Okay, so this is actually going to reflect. So there's indication here. The router or the switch might be saying na mali. I think this is actually what we call invalid input detected at this particular mark. This is actually the error. Ito. Okay? So, you need to indicate na tama talaga yung port na pinagagamitan or the keyword itself might be wrong. Okay? Okay, so I will actually also be shown no, sa inyo. Then, this one. So, hotkeys and shortcuts. Yeah, napakita ko na sa inyo yung iba. Yung, I mean, dyan sa inyo. With that example, yan. Ilagay nyo after ng mode to. What mode is this? Ito. Privilege, we have the privilege exec mode, no? Lagay nyo dyan, on. And tapos, question mark, either you're actually going to reflect configure or it's going to reflect configure or connect. Of course, it cannot, di ba? It cannot guess kung ano ba talagang gusto ninyo. Then, but, I can actually do shortcuts also, no? So, on FT or configure terminal ang tawag dyan. So you don't need to spell everything, no? So you're actually going to use commands or shortened commands ang tawag dyan. So anyways, may mga paano ba may check yan, sir? Ang mga commands or shortcut keys, no? You can actually do the question mark again for every mode that is actually available. Yan. Tab, you can actually use tab in order for you to assist or to be assisted by completing the partial command. You can also use backspace, no? And erases the character to the left of the cursor. Left arrow and control V. Yan. Moves the cursor one character to the left. We also have the right arrow and control F, no? Moves the cursor one character to the right. And also up arrow or control P, it recalls the previous commands that you have entered. Okay, so that's actually the hotkeys and shortcuts. Pero doon sa error na nangyari kanina, again, that's control shift 6. Okay, so baka lumabas naman yun. Okay, so if you want to have, example, itong lumabas, sir, doon sa configuration na ginamit namin, more, you can actually use spacebar. Okay, or spacebar or enter. Okay, so para isa-isahin mo yan. So enter key again, spacebar, and then if other exec is actually going to be utilized, then it says there that ends the display string, returning to the privileged exec mode. So right after, it will actually be using other modes. No? So doon tayo papasok. Then we also have Control C, Control Z, yan. This one, is what I've said kanina, Control Shift 6 pag nagka-error. So anyways, you can review that later yung mga keystrokes, no? Okay, yan. Okay, so sa packet tracer, have you seen this activity? Yan. Ha? Sige daw. Please do the following na exercise except for sige daw. Tapos na kayo ito? Sige. Yung sa iba na hindi pa nakaano, let's have this activity. No? You are going to establish basic connections, access the CLI, actually ang iba nakaano na, and then explore help, which is actually using help, and explore exec modes, and set the clock. Okay, so sir, bakit may clock ang isang router? That's the purpose for synchronization of different devices. Sige. Okay, so sa mga nasa online, do you have any question?
Sir.
Sino yun? Kihada? Harvey, yes?
Yes. Na-busy ko access sa packet tracer niya na yung first activity sir ba, nawala ko kay one of the
Okay lang. Actually, I've changed the activity to a new version.
Okay. Ilang kabalo sa paggamit ani sir?
Yung ano lang, yung ano, yeah, pwede, pwede. Guys, the only thing that you need to submit is the document, not the packet tracer. Okay, so because it's already pre-contained here. You can actually use the result. Yes. Ay, yeah, pwede. Pwede. Para mas, ano siya, mas accurate siya. No other facts. Yan lang. Hindi man yun siya. Yes, check, check. Yes, and I actually that's the part. Anyways, later. Yes. Ay, wala. The figures later. Hindi mo ano. Ano everyone that one is for another. It's another. Almost. Yeah. Yeah, good. Then tapos, running configuration. Right. So what? So running configuration. So all of these apply them. Ah. Pero ano na yan, naka-silent. Hindi mo siya nag-error. Select yun. Pag hindi siya nag-error, salita. Salita. Wala siyang yung error doon. Yung arrow sa taas. Minsan, assignment sa bigla mo. Exactly. Yan sila. Yan. Kung mga levels. Pero pag ma-explore ka ng other commands, i-question mark yun. Ang ma-enable na sir, yeah, you can proceed to another privilege slip mode. Yan, ano siya? Punta ka na rin sa global configuration. EN. Kunyari. M is font. Yeah. That's the already the global configuration. Yeah, that's the command. Those are the commands. Example, change the banner and quantity. Set. Ano yung message of the day? Ay, hello world. Hello world na. One problem yung nangyari sa isang case. Doon sa anytime, before ka mag-exit ka doon, exit ka lahat, and. Yan. Ito, no? Yun yung pag-start ka with partner, and then MOTT. The topology, yeah, dependency, how to remote. Yeah, separate na. Redundancy. Redundancy ko na. Yeah, wala pa siya connected connection. So you need to configure out routers first before the C. Assigned configuration between the router and the switches. Router and switches. Sorry, routers to routers. So you'll be using the protocol here para mag-interconnect sila. Same uniform, depende. It's not all. Sa example, naka-OSPF sila, naka-EIGRP sila, naka-BGP sila. So those are configuration lang. Actually, this is the setup of remote branches. Example, no? I have branches, pero ang nag-manage ito is per branch. Pero this is managed also internally by the direction. Or, I guess, kayo doon C. Di ba C lang? C.
Ayun, please. Ako ako dito po. Yes. Ayun, please. Ah, Actually, actually, kailangan one help. Alright. Neighbor me one more time. Banyak memang sih. Banyak.
Okay, may question si Harvey. Pocket Tracer. You can download the Pocket Tracer, the latest version, so that it would be compatible to the to the file that I gave you. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, last na lang ito. Hindi lang. Para matapos, maka-start, maka-finish na yung iba. Actually, part siya dyan. Sa ano, i-ano ko lang ka, baka may question ba? Sige daw. So sige ha. Tapusin ko lang ha para ma-continue yung activity. Okay, so the last task would be the basic device configuration. Pero still the same, no? I'm not talking about the devices, but still the same with the router and also the switches that you're actually going to assign. But there are some points that would just like also to clarify, no? Yan. Kanina may mga error, no? May mga errors na entry. Device names are actually also assigned. You're actually going to change the name, example, by default switch siya. You're actually going to change the name conventions just like this. SW floor dash 1 or SW dash floor dash 1. So yan na yung bagong name ng device ninyo. So aside from that, you're actually going to start with letter contains with no space, no? Containing or contain no spaces, and with the letter or digit. Pwede ganyan. Use only letters, digits, and dashes, no? No special characters. Be less than 64 characters in length, no? So, yan ang pag-change or the convention in configuring your devices or your device. Now, another thing is also passwords or assigning passwords to your devices. So, but we have the guidelines already, no? Okay, so assigning that particular password and also what particular mode you actually going to in order for you to assign that, no? So, the use of weak or easily guessed passwords are security concern. Ito, your device will not determine that. Okay, so the level of the difficulty of your password will not be checked by your device. So wala siyang ganyan na feature, ha? So all networking devices should limit administrative access by securing privileged exit mode. So doon pa lang, walang pwedeng maka-access doon except for the user or the administrator. Kayo ang mag-assign ng password na yan. User exec and also remote telnet access because as far as we're concerned, telnet cannot be accessed by it's easily accessed by anyone without password. Okay, so dito kailangan i-assign nyo ang password, no? In addition, all passwords should be encrypted and legal notifications provided. Take note, saan natin ilalagay ang legal provisions dito? You're actually going to provide this to your banner MOTD. Well, at least you are going to inform them that this router or this switch is secured. So anyone who has an illegal intention is informed already. Why? May legal battle yan, actually. For example, welcome hackers. Well, you welcome the hackers. Ang legal nyo dyan, wala kayong legal grounding. Wala kayong defense. Why? You welcome them. Walang joke ha, because this actually happened. Nanalo ang offender. Kasi nag-joke ang ang administrator. So ganun ang nangyari sa kanya. So the court decided na, well, you welcome them. Diba? So ano pa doon, hindi pa verbal. It is written. So you made them more easier for them to access. So yun. So use passwords that are more than 8 characters. I think this is already practiced by everyone. No? Use a combination of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, special characters, and or numeric sequences. Ito. And then avoid using the same password for all devices because this is actually the most common error that you are actually going to experience. And do not use common words, no? Because they are easily guessed. So, yan. Pero, as for academic purposes lang, you actually have to use this. Lalo na sa mga doon sa ninyo, sa activity niyo or pre-configure activity because this one is instructed na ito yung password doon ninyo. Tapos ito ang another password. So, you're actually going to do that on your basic configuration. No? So, exercise. Okay, so on that password, saan nyo i-assign? Of course, you're going to assign that to line console 0. And then you're actually going to assign Cisco as your password. Then, don't forget, ha? Ito lang, panaging nagkakalimutan ng ibang students. So, they actually forget or they tend to forget to input login. Why? Because in order for them to recognize what you have inputted as password. Okay, so don't forget to log in and input nyo in. Okay? So, other than that, you're also going to assign secret password. So, what is the secret password? That's class. For academic purposes lang ito para mas maintindihan. Okay, so enable secret password class. You're actually going to do exit then tapos balik kayo sa privileged exit mode. Okay? So, you actually have that activity there. No? So, that example. Then, pareho pa rin, virtual terminal. On the virtual terminal's perspective, from 0 to 15, that's 16 virtual terminals, you're actually going to assign password Cisco. No? Then, log in, then, i-end nyo para bumalik naman siya doon sa privileged exit. So, take note, the virtual terminal or VTY is another port or virtual port or terminal that you're actually going to secure that involves remote access, no, from telnet to secure shell. And take note, you cannot remotely access your device kung hindi siya naka-enable. Okay, this one is very also important. No? Sir, we cannot appreciate masyado dito na part because literally, if you're going to use this in virtual na concept, wala naman siya sir, wala naman siya point para sa akin. Pero, in the actual device na talaga, you're really going to use that. Okay, so, just the same, no? Yung ginamit ko kanina, you're actually going to use that command. show running configuration means that you're actually going to see what are the configured or input and password. Pero take note, sir, hindi na namin nakita yung password ni line console 0 ni 0 to 4. Ano nangyari? I actually encrypted them. So pag naka-encrypt na siya, ang mga passwords ninyo, example, rather, enable the encryption of the password, you're going to go to a certain terminal. Okay, so global configuration mode, you are going to enable service password dash encryption. Then automatically everything that you are actually going to see when you are going to run all the configuration on your terminal is already enabled. No? So, hindi nyo na makikita yung password na na-input ninyo. Pero prior to that, example, prior to that, hindi pa ninyo ito nilagay. Sir, can we see the password? Si Cisco and si Class? Ito, yes. Yes. Literally. Makikita pa ninyo. This is Class, this is Cisco. Or this is Cisco, this is Class. Sir, mag-interchange. I don't care as long as you know kung ano saan doon. Anyways, dalawang password lang naman ang ina-assign natin, the Cisco and Class or Class Cisco. No? So, yun. Pero ito, this is encrypted already. This is already protected by the 1024 RSA encryption key. So, that's the assignment of per port. No? So, you need to secure that. But anyways, by default, hindi siya ma-enable. Yes. We want that one. Yes, you are going to disable nyo lang. So the reverse. Pero, well, the point of having the encrypted nga, para yun siya makita. Pero kung sabihin nyo na, sir, hindi ko na na-memorize ang password, so parang i-decrypt ko na naman, i-show nyo dyan. Parang, that's the point. So, parang ganun ba? Pero yun lang. Now, you as the administrators or you the one who's actually going to assign that, kailangan, wag nyong isulat ha. Kahit saan yung password. So, that's the, the best practice. Pero, ito, yung na ninyo kanina, the banner, okay, so another thing is, you're going to assign this and you're going to see this at the initial message on your terminal. So, example, press return to get started. Makikita nyo immediately, yan, on your MOTD. Yan, you can assign the policy there. Regardless of how many keys ang ilalagay nyo dyan. Example, authorized access only. You are not authorized. Legal battle dyan is, if you are going to, you're going to access this one, and then, nagamit mo lahat, then pwede kang kasuhan. Kung sa network policies are actually is concerned. Kasi, of course, that's the basic the basic precautionaries, no? Ito pala the banner and MOTD. Okay, so that's why it's called message of the day. Okay? So okay, so that's actually under global configuration command, no? Ito sa save configuration, I will not be emphasizing this because this is actually utilized on your specific device. Sa packet tracer kasi, cannot save configuration files. Kasi it's a virtual device. Okay? You cannot save that on a certain router or a certain switch. Walang ganyan. Okay? Doon lang sa mga devices. Okay? And wala siyang memory ang packet tracer. So, but you can actually save your activity. Pero kung pre-configured na siya, example, sir, itong ginagawa namin dito, is it saved? No, because it's pre-configured. So, ang lahat ng mga to be accomplished ninyo, mamomonitor niyo siya through that yung assessment checker. Okay? So, maano niyo dyan. Sige, questions? Yes.
Yung pinakita naman kanina na i-configure ko ba yun?
Yes, i-configure yan siya. Most of that in terms of redundancy, kasi sa I think doon yun pa yan siya sa NSA2. Ay, sa NETA2. So, doon.
Ano yung pasa na
Doon sa configuration. Yung ano lang, topology na.
Okay na ba yun?
Wala mali ano. Sige, so you can figure basics, no? So with that, okay, so we'll continue some other topics through asynchronous, and then with this particular na ano na mga video, I'll be uploading this na lang to your BB para makuha niyo ito lahat, then tapos you can actually have a review. So para hindi kayo magsawa sa akin, no? So by looking at me, para mas magaling pa kasi sila, no? So by looking at it. Sige, so questions? Sige, questions na. Yes.
Nag-release mo na siya first week. Answer na.
Yeah. The first week activity is ano yun? Outdated na kasi yun. So, kailangan gamitin yung bago. Okay, so, baka ipatawag ako sa US, hindi na ako makita dito.
Pinawala sila sa answer box.
Yeah, tinanggal ko. No, yan na yun. Yan na yung bago. Questions? Yes? Episodes, yung ano, so sa ano ninyo, sa based on sa instruction, as much as possible, you can actually provide that. Yeah.
At the same time, answer na mo din
Okay, better.
Okay, sa last part sa yung
Siguro, ano na, highlight na to. Highlight example, highlighting this, may comment, blah, blah, blah. Sige, questions coming from, onliners? For Joshua, wala pa I don't know what you're trying to say, Josh, no? What do you mean by sa word?
Sir, nakoy question, sir.
Yes, Mr. Queda.
So, kaning sa week 3, sir, live, kuning sa week 2, sir. Unsa ang activity sa week 2, sir?
What's the first nga, yung title activity? Yung logical and...
Logical and
yes.
physical mode exploration.
Yeah, logical and physical. Doon muna tayo mag-start.
Sige. Sa mga activity
Yes.
karon, sir. Okay.
Yes, then tapos, if you can proceed to the next, then that's better, no? Para ano ninyo then. You can ask questions doon on my, through your BB or through Teams, no? If you have any
Sige, sir.
questions. Investigate devices in wiring closet. Yeah. Ano doon? Ano lang, you're just going to navigate and see, no? Exploration lang na part, Josh. Part 2. Doon ka sa logical view and physical view. Doon sa may button sa upper corner. Hindi siya corner talaga, sa upper portion, corner. Then may tapos may logical and physical view doon. Tapos naman kayo, no? Yes. This one, wala man tayong business na program. So, little na as soon as may devices na final project. Sa IT. Assessment. Kagaya ng ginawa niya pa. That's the difference. Number now, from 13 for determining pero
Bye, guys.
you can do that at home. Anyways, yeah, the deadline is on 27th. Tama ba yun? 27th, yeah. The night, no? 27th. Ha? Oo. Pero huwag mo na purposely. Okay? Para siya mag-plan. Document. Oh, yeah. Huwag yung ano ha, copy-tracer. Yung ano ba, yung sa Word, yung top, di ba may error kayo, huli ka, tapos may screenshot kayo from the copy-tracer. And then may comment kayo doon, i-highlight mo na, tapos lagyan ng format. Para, anyways, that would actually also be verified. Kayo talaga.
Paano yung pag-verify?
Sa file, I can determine that pag ma-receive ko na. Yung metadata ninyo is actually, that should be unique. Digitally signed by your device, di ba? So every computer has its own. So pag magkapareho kayo doon, somehow, the digit that they're actually using, pag same device. Pag binasa mo yan doon, tapos ginamit niya yung last touch niya ng yan activity ng computer, it means that it's actually modified by the device. So, dalawang file na same. Anyways guys, no, so you can tama yan Josh, kalimutan ko. Hindi ko na check.
Sir, ako yung last question, sir.
Yes, Harvey.
Kung saan ang ipasa sa BB, sir?
BB, ipasa natin is yung document, which is your answer, naka-highlight siya, then tapos yung screenshot ninyo based on your activities. Then, if you have anything that you would like to emphasize or remarks, lagyan nyo ng remarks.
Sige, sir.
Document lang yan, walang packet tracer. Huwag nyo ibalik sa akin yung packet tracer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Miko, Alexi, Eumer, James, Klein, Dan Jeric, Jacob, and Raymond, baka may question. So, sir, sabihin na ganun. Packet tracer, sir. Doc file lang. Doc file lang. Marag screenshot ang matanan. Nandiyan na. Lahat. Anuhin ko yan. Ay, hindi. Lahat lang yung mga commands. That is all. That is all.
So, karon sir, wala ko may net agad. Offline ka.
No, ano ko lang sa lead. Wala ko ito. Gusto niyo po, magsalit tayo sa trader. Ano ba pala po sa Singapore? Ano ba pala po sa Singapore? Ano ba pala po sa Singapore? Sa kanang connect Malaysia. Yeah. Ano yung connect? Kailangan mag-configure mo.
Ay, di na ito ang easy-peasy kanina to.
Yeah.
Sir, ito tapos sa highlight, like, i-change ang color
Bagay
sa
ka,
mga
sabay
steps.
ba?
Ano?
Ay, depende sa inyo kung may mga ano po yung mga example, yung separator, you have a follow, delivery, yung butter, kayo naman. Pero ang highlight doon, design, highlight, pero yung highlight doon is yung emphasis doon.
Ay, yun eh. Mas tingin.
Ng mga
Pero gusto nyo with the result of the mga steps na na-execute. In-answer? Yes. Okay. Ano to?
Ay, favorite is. Ano?
Ito yung mechanical.
Ano? Wala?
Okay? Bigyan mo na lang sa akin. Ano kaya? Sabi mo.
Mahal for me. Okay, mahal beach. Sir, love you, sir.
Offline pa din. Offline. Yeah.
Maganda to, sir, ka nang mag-ethical hacking na, sir.
That's on security. Hindi ito.
Wala ba yung cyber security sa CS, sir?
Some of the other schools are actually offering the major. Pero sa cybersecurity lang na parang ano lang niya, yung parang touch lang niya, pwede. Actually sa security.
Meron. CS.
Dito? Ano siya?
There's a curriculum.
Wala. Sa ano lang. Defense lang. But not on the ano.
Open cam na, sir.
Luloy?
Yeah.
Sir, ang ibang tama sir.
Yeah, sure.
Infrastructure, good
Mm.
course. Diba doon ko ka-cable ang buhat?
Pili na isa ka.
Ang sa sir ba ka ng, kasi nakalahi sa